Hola amigos y amigas, muy bienvenidos a un nuevo capítulo de Sherlock Holmes, ya el sexto capítulo de esta serie. En el anterior estuvimos recorriendo la mansión de nuestra niñez, buscando un poco más de pistas sobre la muerte de nuestra madre, y en este vamos a estar iniciando con una invitación que nos llegó para recorrer la galería de arte del señor Vogel, y vamos a estar viendo qué nos trae, así que espero que lo disfruten. Vamos allá. Bueno, vamos a marcar la galería de arte de Vogel, que queda en el cruce de Bazaar Road y Hermes Avenue. Hermes Avenue, acá está. Ok, muy bien. Así que nos vamos a tomar el viaje rápido y nos vemos ahí. Bueno, parece que estamos en la galería de arte. Vamos a ver qué nos trae el
Mr.
señor Vogel.
Holmes, you came. Oh, how kind. Though now, of course, I realize it is because of my game, not the works on display.
It needn't be one or the other. Your man's disguise was easily debunked, Mr. Vogel, but I shall admit that you planted in me the seed of curiosity.
Ah, terrific. I had no doubt you'd put the pieces together. Let us call it an opening gambit before the real game begins.
So, this little game of yours, what's it about?
An enigma to solve. A locked area in the basement with no windows found brutally vandalized. I have no clue how it was possible.
And this locked area downstairs, what exactly was it?
The under gallery. It's always shut, and I'm the only one with the key.
Ah, so this is your private collection, not part of the gallery.
Oh, no. It's an exclusive exhibition of eccentric pieces. Only a select cadre of artists, investors, and collectors are admitted. Not everyone deserves to have their eyes opened.
What about this intrusion? What happened?
Last night, I was about to leave the gallery when I heard a noise downstairs. I went to the basement, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It was admittedly a rudimentary inspection. It is not uncommon to get rats down there, so seeing nothing of note, I left and locked up the building. When I returned this morning, alas, I discovered that part of the exhibition had been torched, and there was no sign of the intruder. The mystery being, of course, that all the doors to the gallery were locked exactly as I left them.
And the door to the basement is the only entrance?
Correct. Tell me you're not intrigued.
Well, this matter is certainly within my wheelhouse.
This intrusion troubles me. Please take a look around if you're willing. The under gallery is through the door at the end.
I will see what I see.
Bueno, muy bien. Tenemos vandalismo. La puta madre. Bueno, muy bien. Tenemos que resolver el vandalismo que hubo en la galería privada del señor Vogel. Acá tenemos mucho arte, pero esto no es relevante para lo que sería nuestra
You
investigación.
sure you don't like art, Sherry?
No, no tenemos nada acá. Esto es pura cháchara. Vamos a bajar al sótano.
Back home we've got a taxidermist. He's gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I bring him.
A simplistic attempt at provocation.
Tenemos una pala.
Old, and hasn't been used for a long time.
Hay pisadas de ida y vuelta. 74 centímetros.
The left step's length is shorter than the right. It indicates that the walker was lame.
Ok, indica una cojera.
Closed with a metal bolt.
Hay pisadas como de niño.
Footprints. Size 9.5.
No. No es de niño, es limadura de imán. Ok. Creo que acá no hay más nada.
A true artist never shows an unfinished piece.
Tenemos una especie de cripta. Un cuervo.
Sherry, how about some company in that dreary chamber of yours?
Leave my loneliness unbroken, John.
parece ligeramente movido los huesos. Y hay una huella.
A handprint of the thing from another world. But it looks fresh, and its coal origin ruins the effect of the extra mundane. Sodden and mold-ridden. One presumes deliberately.
A ver qué tenemos acá.
The parasites of creativity. Or just a reflection of the artist's recreational interest. Saturn devouring his son. Oh, grim composition.
Esa
Unflinching
imagen
in its
es muy
ferocity, yet
mítica,
somehow
la verdad.
beautiful.
La de Saturno es excelente, ese cuadro es muy bueno. Un cigarrillo.
A Malpal butt.
Ok. Ah, tenemos una huella en el
A
cigarrillo.
Malpal butt.
A ver, ahí está.
Coal fingerprints. I think we're looking for a man with a coal moustache. Ugh, sheer vandalism. Only an ignorant person could do such a thing.
Acá tenemos algo más. Claro. Ah, tenemos que recrear. Muy bien, muy bien. Ok. Bueno, esto va a llevar su tiempo, así que ajustense sus cinturones. A ver. Ah, ok. Creo que solamente está la de Vogel y... Bueno, voy a validar esto a ver qué pasa.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the hatch bolt. He accidentally pushed a shovel to the floor. Vogel heard the noise. At the sound of his approaching footsteps, the intruder hid inside the coffin. When Vogel entered the basement, he failed to notice anything strange and left without properly checking. The intruder waited until Vogel had left the caravanserai before burning the paintings in Wilde's room. But the vandalism was a cover for the theft.
Bueno, según Sherlock, es una tapadera para un robo. Así que tendremos que seguir con una pequeña charla con Vogel, supongo, para interrogarlo acerca de lo que vimos acá abajo.
The pieces are not what I expected.
What do you think my collection is about?
Extravagant paintings have been left to rot in a basement. A commentary on decay and the crumbling of society, correct?
I don't know.
Well, that's absurd. Of course you know. It's your gallery.
There is no one answer, no singular truth, but many filtered through the subjective mind. That forgetting, embellishing, lying machine. Besides, what's wrong with a lie if it makes life more interesting?
What's wrong with a lie? It corrupts the ability of others to behave freely and rationally.
Men never act freely and rationally anyway. It matters not what is or isn't in the end. The only important thing is how you feel. And I simply want to feel and consume as much as I can. Don't you?
Se ve
Feelings
que
are
no.
simply one's animal ancestry trying to wrest back control of the brain. I try to avoid the distraction.
You try not to feel, even in a place like this? None of it moves you?
To be frank, I struggle to maintain even a whit of interest in art.
But Mr. Holmes, it is joy incarnate, mankind's greatest achievement.
Mankind's highest achievement above all others is objective and rational thought.
I see then why you dislike art, for it means whatever you want it to.
Or perhaps, Mr. Vogel, I was lying.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Vogel, my investigation has revealed that the intrusion was not merely vandalism but theft. The limping visitor left your place with a canvas.
That's very impressive.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the latch and dislodged the shovel while doing so. That's the noise you heard yesterday. When you went downstairs to investigate, he hid in the coffin.
It seems I should have checked the space more thoroughly.
This thief was familiar with the gallery and he was sporting a limp. Do any of your clients or artists come to mind?
My, your attention to detail is remarkable, Mr. Holmes. I should introduce you to Bosch's works. Alas, I'm afraid I cannot suggest a culprit.
The fire was a clever attempt to hide a stolen painting, even if it didn't fool me. I found the remnants of an empty frame in the pile of ashes. The canvas had been removed. Do you know which paintings in the Wild Room may have interested a thief? Were any particularly expensive?
Those pieces belong to a well-known artist named Boniface Mercurio. They're controversial, but not of a notably high value.
There's something more, is there not? I can see it in your eyes.
Indeed. There is another intriguing angle. I recently received an anonymous offer for one of Mercurio's works. The sum was more than fair, and indeed could have saved Mercurio from his artistic poverty. But he declined it.
Was it a performative whim? Some artists lionize pain and hardship as if their work would be worse after a meal and a hot bath.
I cannot tell. But not only did he refuse the deal, he insisted on displaying the painting in the public space. I was hoping to change his mind, but artists are a special breed of stubborn.
A ver dónde vive ese
So where can I
señor.
find Boniface Mercurio?
I know he lives somewhere in Old City, but couldn't be more specific. He's a prominent figure, so finding him shouldn't be a problem.
What was depicted in the piece?
A bound woman, wrapped in robes, being penetrated by a red devil that stared at us, the viewer. The beast had numerous tails growing from his back, and a large crowd gathered around the pair, silently watching the orgiastic scene.
Okay, well, given the nature of the other works on display, it's hard to see why that one stood out. What could possibly be its value?
The evaluation of art is very subjective, Mr. Holmes. After all, art is everything. A poem, a bruise, the beads of sweat on your beloved skin. Even a masterfully solved crime.
I'm not sure I see the connection.
Regardless, the painting was one of a series called The Sabbath Night in Cordona. The works depict sex, violence, and other controversial acts that life, for better or worse, contains.
Ah, I see.
Me suena
I'm
que es
not
algo
sure
que
that
haría la
we do.
iglesia, no sé por qué.
But that can wait for another time.
Well, I believe I have enough to begin. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. Your gallery certainly has unexpected depths.
I'm delighted to have been able to please a friend. In return, I expect you to come back with good news. Or at least with a good story.
Bueno. ¿Conseguimos todas las pistas? Sí, conseguimos todas las pistas. Bueno. A ver. El artista vive en alguna parte de Old City, pero no sé exactamente dónde, así que tendremos que ir a ver al ayuntamiento, quizá. Sí, creo que nos vamos a ir al ayuntamiento para ver si encontramos ahí. A menos que esté en el periódico, pero bueno, en todo caso nos veremos en alguna de las dos. Bueno, vamos a ver en el diario, a ver si encontramos algo en los archivos del diario. Creo que
Mr.
acá.
Holmes,
Archivo
I
era por
have
acá.
something for you.
Sí, pero no me interesa. A ver, periodo reciente, gente, celebridades, distritos All City. Ahí está, perfecto. La semana pasada nos ha deleitado con un nuevo escándalo relacionado con los círculos de alta sociedad artística. Todo comenzó con una venta de cuadros que los artistas locales denominaron como la danza de la decadencia. El director de la editorial The Lion, Darren Terwick, rompió el idilio lanzando una silla a un artista decadente, Boniface Mercurio. Según declaró más tarde el señor Terwick, lo hizo porque el señor Mercurio lo deshonró. Este columnista les recuerda que hace poco vieron al señor Mercurio y la señora Terwick juntos en una cafetería. Después, un director de orquesta, Kurt Gallagher, destrozó un cuadro sobre la cabeza del señor Terwick para proteger a su amigo Mercurio. Se inició entonces una gran pelea en la que se intervinieron muchos clientes. Después de la prolongada reyerta, llegó la policía que detuvo a los participantes y los mantuvo bajo vigilancia durante una semana. Menudo acto. Como leal consejero personal de ustedes, les sugiero que adquieran un recuerdo de la venta. Por desgracia ya ha terminado, pero el mismísimo Boniface Mercurio invita a nuestros lectores a su casa, donde podrán comprar uno de sus cuadros. Lo encontrarán en Ernest Avenue, entre Scarlet Street y Olivet Street, en la Old City. Muy bien, vamos a la Ernest Avenue. Perfecto. Nos veremos allá. Bueno, a ver si encontramos a Vogel por acá. Acá puede ser. Acá está, perfecto. ¿Qué sería? ¿Acá? Sí.
Excuse me, young man. Where do you think you're going?
Greetings, ma'am. I'm looking for the...
I don't care who you're looking for. You shall not pass. No visitors allowed.
I wish to buy a painting from Mr. Boniface Mercurio. Is he at home?
Dearie, tell me, because old age has made me blind. Did someone write Information Bureau on my forehead? Because I'm not here to answer your questions. Entry is for residents only. If you aren't a resident, please leave, or I shall report you to the police.
Bueno, la vieja se ortivó. ¿Que me tengo que ir?
No visitors allowed.
Sí, me tengo que ir, gente. Bueno. Tengo que hacer de residente. O sea, me tengo que disfrazar. Bueno. Nos vamos en el mercado buscando ropa. Bueno, según la pista, tenemos que parecer un artista bohemio y despeinado. Así que vamos a ir. ¿Qué pasó? Vamos a ir con esto.
A good choice.
Vamos a probar con esto. Si no, volvemos y probamos otra cosa.
Boniface, sweetie. Is that you?
No lo puedo creer.
Old age does terrible things to one's sight. I didn't recognize you at first.
How are you, ma'am? I'm ashamed to admit that I've lost my key. Do you have a spare?
For heaven's sake, how many times will you lose that key of yours? Of course I have a spare. You artists all live in your own little world.
Please, accept my thanks.
I would rather accept your rent. You promised to pay me several weeks ago and I'm still waiting.
I will pay you, I promise, very soon.
You'd better do, my dear. Or else I'll just change the lock. And I won't fall for those
Sí, señora.
Hawaiis.
Sí, señor Ortiva. Ok, tenemos las llaves del departamento. Igual será. ¿Esta? Y bueno, no podía esperar otra cosa, ¿no? Sherlock Holmes. Imposible esperar otra cosa. Muy bien. Un minuto de silencio, por favor, por el señor Mercurio. Bueno, lo último que voy a ver va a ser el
The
cadáver,
chest has
pero...
been searched.
No sé por qué me sigue sonando que esto es algo que haría la iglesia, gente. No
Red
sé por qué.
skin, tails on the back, reminds me of Werder's description of the stolen painting.
Qué pedazo de cuadro, mío. Impresionante. ¿Qué tenemos acá? A ver. Nada.
The photograph was not pulled out in
Revelaciones.
time. Such a waste of material.
Acá
The
tenemos otra
photograph
carrera.
was not pulled out in time. Such a waste of material. Look at this, John. Isn't it our stolen demon? Aunt May whiskey, brandy bucks. Quite a collection he had here.
Bueno, le gustaba chupar como a todo artista, ¿no? Por supuesto. Y que no les extrañe encontrar algo de falopa también, ¿no? Falta un cuchillo. Fibras de tejido azul. Una cámara.
I wonder where he got that fancy camera.
Una botella rota.
It appears the wine was truly awful.
¿Qué nos falta? Acá.
Despite the overall tendency towards mess, you cannot sit with the drawer pulled out like this. Someone left it after searching.
Muy bien.
The blood has dried.
I've heard of this style of painting. It is called expressionism.
Bueno, voy a ir por el cadáver. Ok. Parece que le cortaron el
The
cuello.
wound is precise. It was inflicted by a razor or a knife. Soaked in blood. It seems as if the puddle of blood was here before the rags.
El cuchillo.
A normal kitchen knife. Could be the murder weapon.
Magulladuras duras en los nudillos.
Judging by post-mortem rigidity, the body lay here for 1 or 2 days.
Fue hace bastante, por eso está la sangre seca. Bueno, hay que reconstruir. Este va a ser difícil porque andás a ver cómo procedió todo, ¿no? No. Mm. Mm. Creo que ahí puede ser, ¿eh? A ver.
Mercurio was
Sí,
developing
señor.
photographs when the intruder snuck in. Mercurio heard him coming. While the thief was searching the chest, the painter ran towards him with a bottle in his hand. He smashed it across the thief's head. The intruder had no choice but to defend himself, and the weapon of opportunity happened to be a kitchen knife. Mercurio stepped aside to grab the painting, but the wine-blinded thief attacked Mercurio's throat. When the thief came to his senses, he saw Mercurio bleeding on the floor. He grabbed the rags and tried to bandage him, but it was too late.
Que el tipo no planeaba
Why did
matarlo.
Mercurio attempt to snatch the painting in the middle of a fight? To strike the intruder? Not with his painting, it was too important to him.
Hay algo que no quería que descubrieran el cuadro, quizá.
It's time for some chemical magic, John.
Ok, ¿y no puedo agarrar el cosito este azul? No. Bueno, vamos a hacer la prueba química del cuadro. Bueno, creo que después de un rato ya lo tenemos. La verdad estuve como 20 minutos haciendo esto. A ver. Bien, perfecto. O sea, lleva un montón de combinaciones. Estas no se usan, estas de acá no se usan. Pero bueno, la papa es más o menos así. Listo. Conseguido eliminar la sangre del cuadro con productos químicos. Es un bodegón del apartamento de Mercurio. Ok.
That doesn't look like the painting we need, Sherry.
As expected, but that doesn't mean it won't tell us anything. Let's put it on the easel where it belongs.
Vamos a ponerlo en el caballete ahora.
I guess this is his most ordinary painting. Spot the two differences, John? If the intruder didn't take it, the skull should be somewhere here.
A ver la otra diferencia.
Nothing behind it.
Así que el cráneo podía estar todavía por acá.
Monster was actually a man. Poor girl. John, you ought to be thrilled. We are now hunting the devil himself.
What were you saying, Sherry? I was too busy sketching the scene, you know, crimes and such like, daily routine. Did you find something?
A photograph. It depicts a man in a red suit with tails sprouting from his back and multiple people in masks watching the scene. It all adds up. But the act of love, it wasn't given willingly, John. It was a violation. And the girl, she was with child.
Give that to me now.
Que tenemos alguna
Did
especie
you
de
recognize
ritual.
someone?
No. Although the victim is not from Cordona, she is African. Look at the ritual scars on her face.
Get that image out of your brain. You have to continue the investigation.
I must speak to the landlady. Perhaps she saw or heard something.
Sherry, you cannot tell her the truth about Mercurio. It will hurt her.
John, that's illogical. Sooner or later, she will come here and discover a corpse, and I still need to talk to her.
Just avoid mentioning corpse. All right? Stick to the character. Tell her to call the police.
I'll take that into account.
And wait here. I've redrawn the people in the photograph. Now you can proceed with your investigation without those horrific details.
Bueno, tenemos varias pistas. Pero no todas. Habría que hacerle caso a John o no. La verdad que... El apartamento de Mercurio llevamos una fotografía de una vileza cometida sobre una joven por un degenerado. John ha dibujado al violador como referencia vestido en un traje rojo y con una cola. También ha dibujado una fotografía de una mujer encinta con cicatrices tribales en el rostro. Claro, el tema es cómo... cómo seguimos la pista, ¿no? ¿A quién le preguntamos?
What's wrong, dear? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Can you tell me if anyone else has recently entered the flat?
Oh, you're talking about that limping man. I'm sorry I let him in. I was scared. And I thought maybe he would motivate you to find money so that you would pay your rent.
Ok, el cojo estuvo en la galería de arte y acá también.
Can you describe him?
Oh, so you weren't at home. I was so certain you didn't leave your flat that day. He was of average height, had a limp and a tattoo on his neck, and he was smoking Malpal cigarettes. My husband used to smoke those. They have a horrible smell I can recognize from a mile away.
Can I ask a favor?
Of course, dearie.
Please call the police and ask them to enter the flat. And don't look inside until they come up.
What? What trouble have you stepped in this time?
It really doesn't matter. Thank you, Mum.
Bueno. Bueno, perfecto, listo. Todas las pistas. Ahora sí. Así que, bueno, va a ser un temita. ¿Cómo seguir? Quizá podríamos dejar este capítulo hasta acá. Sí, va a ser mejor. Lo voy a dejar hasta acá, chicos. Así que me parece justo el tiempo perfecto como para terminar la primera parte de este capítulo, que ya sabemos va a ser largo. Así que bueno, espero que lo hayan disfrutado, que les siga gustando la serie, que la apoyen, que le den un like, que se suscriban, que comenten. Básicamente que se hagan parte de la comunidad. Así que espero verlos de nuevo. Dejen un like, un comentario, suscríbanse y nos vemos la próxima. Hasta luego.